The fourth marketing toolkit is survey research. Survey is the most preferred instruments for in-depth quantitative research. These respondents are asked a variety of questions. These questions are about their personal information, their motivations, and their behavior. These questions are conveyed verbally, in writing, or electronically. There are three main classifications of survey research: the telephone interview, the personal interview, and the mail interview. The most popular type of research is the usage, attitude, and image survey. It's intended to derive market awareness, market size, and market share, product usage and product preference, customer interest, and customer image. There are three important concerns in planning a survey. First is sampling technique. Second is getting the sample size. And third is designing the questionnaire. Let us first tackle questionnaire design. Designing the questionnaire is the most sensitive phase of survey planning. The researcher must follow a process in designing a questionnaire. 1. Specify the information needed. 2. Specify the type of interviewing method. 3. Determine the content of individual questions. 4. Design the questions to overcome the respondents' inability and unwillingness to answer. 5. Decide on the question structure. 6. Determine the wording of the question. 7. Determining the order of questions. 8. Identify the form and layout. 9. Reproduce the questionnaire. And 10. Pretest the questionnaire. Some basic rules in question formulation are used. 1. The questions in their totality should be able to elicit all the necessary information required in the research. 2. Its questions should be clear, unequivocal, not ambiguous. 3. Its questions should cover one topic at a time. 4. Each question should be presented in a neutral manner. And 5. Each question should be translated into the dialect which the target respondents are familiar with. Next, let us go to sampling techniques. Sampling techniques are classified into probability and non-probability sampling. Probability sampling is where the respondents are randomly selected from a population. It allows the researchers to make generalizations on the findings. For simple surveys, the lottery method is the most common form of probability sampling. Other forms of probability sampling are systematic, stratified, cluster, and multi-stage sampling. Non-probability sampling, on the other hand, are techniques resorted to when it's difficult to estimate the population of the study because they're mobile or transitory in a given location. The findings cannot be used to generalize the population. The following are the different types of non-probability sampling: convenience sampling, purposive sampling, quota sampling, and snowball sampling. And last, let us go to sample size. Another concern in survey planning is the determination of the right sample size. The three basic sample size determinants are: 1. Data variability of a proportion. 2. Confidence level in the estimation process. And 3. An error in the result of the estimation process. The first determinant, data variability, talks about the dispersion of data, or how widely spread the data is from a central point. To illustrate, if all students in a given school prefer a particular brand of juice drink, then there is no variability. It is homogeneous in this case, and a sample size of 1 is enough to know the sentiments of the student population. In the second determinant, the relationship states that the higher the confidence level desired, the bigger the sample size needed. The current industry standard is 95% confidence level. Therefore, if the researcher uses 95%, what he or she is actually saying is that he or she is willing to tolerate being wrong in the process of data estimation 5 out of 100 times. Lastly, the third determinant states the relationship as follows. The less the error margin desired, the bigger the required sample size. Since it is a margin, it's expressed as plus or minus a certain percentage. In the example of the students, if 30% say they prefer brand A juice drink, and the error margin is plus or minus 10%, then what the research is saying is that it is accepting the 30% to be as high as 40% or as low as 20%. Assuming that the population is unknown, the formula for computing the sample size is as follows. Let us go to the steps in conducting a survey research. 1. Develop the research objectives. Determine what you want to know and learn. Define the goals of your research. 2. Determine your sample. Identify who and what kind of people you will interview and where you're going to find them. Determine the number of target respondents you need and how you're going to choose them. 3. Choose the interviewing methodology. From the different interview methods, such as face-to-face, by phone, or by mail, choose the appropriate technology to use for your research. 4. Create your questionnaire. In drafting your questionnaire, identify the key information you will ask from your respondents. Design your questionnaire based on the process given above. 5. Pretest the questionnaire. Determine a similar profile of target respondents and test the questionnaire. Be mindful of the comments of the respondents so that you may revise the questions accordingly and appropriately. 6. Conduct interviews and enter data. Plan and execute the implementation of your survey well, including areas to go to, routes to take, time to conduct the interviews, etc. Be professional in conducting the interview. Ensure that the data are entered legibly. 7. Analyze the data. Review your notes. Organize the questionnaires for more orderly processing. Tabulate. Use graphs and do statistics. Write the report including the insights gained from the results.